And here we go. Mastery Training Day, February 2019. So excited. Can't wait to get started. Just a minute. Make sure everything's set. One man show. Let's rock this. And it is. All right. Everything's in focus. And we are good to go. All right, everybody. So good to see you. Make sure we got everything here set up. And we do. And we're recording, so it's all good. All right, here we go. February 2019, monthly mastery training. So many people over the last couple weeks I've been checking in with, coaching, helping, have reported, oh my gosh, we're already into what, the fifth week of 2019, and I am feeling scattered. I don't think that I'm moving across the goals like I thought I'd be. All these kind of things we've been really teeing up to really make 2019 our best year ever. So first and foremost, thanks so much for being here on this beautiful day. I don't know what the weather's like where you're at, but down here in Southwest Florida, sunny, just a few puffy little clouds, about 75, perfect day. Looking forward to getting out there and enjoying it after our beautiful day of training and Q&A. Today's themes, as you have seen or know by now from the title of the replay, title of the actual topics today is this: focus, prioritizing, reducing FOMO. So what is FOMO? The fear of missing out. So often, a lot of the people that I know are on the hunt for new learnings, trying to get masterful things, and they're like, oh my gosh, I gotta learn so much. So we're gonna break it down here for you today. First topic, this is in the health, wealth, and happiness training, is going to be all around you living healthy, wealthy, and happy. Then we're gonna fast forward it into, and I have it around here somewhere, the success roadmap in our business internet mastery training. And that's gonna really help ultra focus business and online efforts to assure we understand what we're doing, where we need to first concentrate so that we can start to generate momentum from the revenue perspective. So many people have reported, I'm doing all these things, I'm blogging, I'm doing a podcast or thinking about that, and I'm going after these things online, I'm posting 3 times a day, but I'm not seeing an increase in my income. So we're gonna really break this down. I can't thank so many of the people that I've talked with enough for really helping me understand where the struggles are right now. As you know, this is a complete co-creation because as we teach in high performance, people support what they create. And the only way that I can really serve you and help you, care for you, love on you, champion you on, even challenge you, is if you let me know what it is you're struggling with. What it is, you know what, this is a showstopper, or this is something that's harming me from doing the good that I want to do in the world. So as you know, the way it works, today we're going to start with perspective, the big picture. Why are we doing what we're doing? We're going to change it up a little bit this month. I had an idea. I was going to give it a try. I hope you like it. We're going to do the 4 A's. You probably know what that is if you know what I always reflect on. Then we're going to go over here, do the training. We're going to walk through these 5 powerful ways to really help you get and sustain momentum on keeping focused, keeping prioritized, and reducing that fear of missing out. So often the fear of missing out happens when we have too much going on and we haven't sat down and said, what is it that I really need to be focused on? What is it that I really need to learn rather than trying to get it all? Does that make sense? If it doesn't yet, it will as we get into that. And then finally, we'll talk through some tactics as well. So again, thank you so much for being here. Love this time. I've been looking forward to it all week. I was sleep banking, as I call it, earlier in the week, taking naps because I just want to be here, be present, be full of love and care for you as we step into this work. Get chills just saying that. So today's training is dedicated to my beautiful girls, Paige and Josie. Because if I was their age, they're 14 and 16, yeah. If I was their age and I was told this from a mom or a dad or a grandpa or grandma, whatever that would be, or just saw it with somebody that I actually heard it, because you know when you're young, sometimes like, I don't need to hear that. But if I got this, it would have been a game changer for me. So this is for you, Paige and Joe. Thanks so much for our great conversation the other night on so many topics. We had a great dinner together, and I was telling them, this weekend I'm going to be talking about focus, prioritization, and stuff like that. And they're like, really? So this is for you guys. That being said, let's go ahead and jump into perspective. So we're going to start today going over the 5 Ps. That's what I teach. That's what I believe. That's what I live into. That's what I want to make sure you're doing as well. If it's important to you to have a life of engagement, joy, full connection, and a feeling of purpose in your life, that you're really helping people. Now, in the frame for this, the highest performers, a lot of the work that we do in high performance coaching, there's 2 big realms that they're really trying to help people with. The first realm is trying to help others, notice I said helping others, improve their lives somehow. So many people get caught up, just a lot of the people, the older generation that I'm coaching, or that have even reached out, they're like, I've been living my life doing my thing and I feel like I'm gonna have some regrets. Or I feel like I'm living into my potential is the words they like to use. And I think, so what do you mean? And what they've done is they've made their life about themselves, not a life about helping others. Somewhere along the line, it just kind of got turned down or turned off. So the highest performers, when they report feeling purposeful, generally, there's an idea or feeling or sensation of them helping others improve their lives somehow. Now, if you take that a step further, in the work that I do and so many of us in our mastery community do as well, we're also helping others grow their businesses. So you see the connection there? Really, really pivotal as we think that through. So I kind of want to set that frame, especially if you're new to the work that we do. This is where we're coming from when we think of these 5 Ps. So that being said, over the last month, we'll just say since the beginning of 2019, let's make it easy on us. And even if you're watching the replay, from the beginning of 2019, what is it for you in terms of how well you feel you've been living purposefully? 0, not at all. 10, crushing it for the year thus far. So I want you to take a moment, maybe take a deep breath, close your eyes, kind of think about what purpose means to you. If you've been through high performance coaching, this is a great time to reflect on your purpose statement. That statement we do in session 11 in Purpose Mastery. Who you want to be, what you want to do, and why it's important to you. So from my do perspective, my job, I feel, on this planet is to help you from where you're at to where you want to be. And help you get there along a straight line. Not so much of this, although that happens as part of our journey, right? Just like, okay, I got to define where I want to be. I'm right here. And so together we work on that. I always call that creating the biggest vision we can for you. What is that going to be? And so many people, they live in their own little world. They kind of lose touch with what they could be or what they could do. And then when they start to think about it, they're like, I could do that. Or I could be this. And I'm like, that's it? You're not going to go for the big one? We'll talk about that here today as well. We're not going to go for the big, hairy, audacious goal or the big, hairy, audacious way of being. No, I'm just going to step a little bit. No. High performance and the work that we do in Health, Wealth, and Happiness is all about going after the big one, but really defining what that is, right? So in the line of purpose, since 2019 started for you, how purposeful have you felt as you think back through all that time? 0, not at all. 10, owning it. So I'm going to do mine in red here. I'm going to rate along with you because I want to be open, honest as we do this work. So for me, a 9. I know there's a little more that I can do towards the scale piece that we're working on, towards putting the work into the world in a more solid and consistent fashion. We've been doing the baby steps to that, but we've also been economy proofing our businesses as we're prepped for 2019, 2020, whatever that will be. Even if it doesn't show up, which chances are it probably will, we're taking the necessary steps coming out of the gate 2019 to economy proof the business. If you want to talk that through in our Q&A today, I'll be happy to reflect on what that actually means. But for you, purposeful this year so far, 0 to 10, what is that and why? And if it's below an 8, share something in the comments, either in the replay or live with us, that is the next step for you to bump that. Something that, you know what, after today's session, this is something I want to concentrate on, to really go after, to bump that one. Just one level. You know, if you got a 6 and you're like, you know what, I'm not feeling purposeful. I've been shut down, I've been doing this, and I know I could be making some calls, helping some people, talking this through, whatever that is for you. The second P that kind of comes from purpose is passion, the emotional enthusiasm, the love, the zest, the vitality, the vibrance that you bring to your day, to your work, to being around others. How passionate have you felt about what you're up to? Maybe just life in general. Depends on what the context is for you. That's totally cool. Since the new year began, how passionate have you felt? I'm going to be totally open and honest here. I'm dropping down to a 7 on passion. I feel like I got too far in the trenches Like I get, because my tactical brain, this is where I come from, the introvert tactical guy, got overwhelmed with tasks and I just wanted to own those. And I lost sensation of the emotional creative side of me. I recognized that about a week and a half ago. You can always tell, and this is a tell for me, and I want to be so clear about how life shows up. You can always tell, and I know this about myself, when I don't go to the beach. And one of our awesome mastery community members, AJ, I'm so proud of you with your mastery. He did his first monthly mastery training a couple days ago. He said, Char, you need to go to the beach. You need to put that in a schedule. You need to go, man. You need to get your passion back. And sure enough, last night I was there watching sunset, sharing it on Facebook if you didn't see it. But the idea is, what is it that we're doing to be passionate? And recognize as humans, sometimes we lose that emotional enthusiasm, right? Well, what are we doing to regain it? What are our reset, recharge, rejuvenation practices to really go after bumping energy, bumping emotion? So one thing that I found in a lot of the people that I coach, they lose their passion when they don't pay attention to their sleep. They'll be just grumps. They'll be like, ugh, I ain't passionate about anything except I'm tired. Give me a coffee. Nope. So we got to really go after sleep, right? For so many people. That's my story this week. Had a lot to do, but I want to make sure as I was really teeing up the week to be here with you, that I was bumping sleep. I put in extra 30 minutes of sleep every night, took a nap, which I hardly ever do. Yesterday I took a nap and just really wanted to make sure that I'm on the front side of sleep and I'm here for you to make sure we're present and I'm passionate about being here, doing what I'm doing to help you, to direct you, support you, care for you, love on you, challenge you, whatever that is, we're here, let's do it. So how'd you do there? 0, I'm not passionate at all, I feel like barely have a pulse. 10, crushing it this year. So if there's anything below an 8, you know what the story is. Think about one thing you might be able to do to reset, recharge, get reconnected with what drives that emotional energy. Next up, the third P is positive. How often, how enthused, like along the lines of passion, how enthused have you been about bringing positive energy overall, even if it's just with yourself? I was reflecting on a coaching call yesterday with someone I've been coaching for 3.5 years, and she said, Char, through all the heavy duty stuff that I've had to go through, letting go of half of a team of people as they've repositioned and regrouped, all the heavy things that I've had to do, I brought the joy through it all. It was hard, but I was positive. And like for what she had to go through, I don't have the time to tell you the whole story. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so inspiring. But how have you been doing on bringing the joy, bringing positive energy along the lines of what your purpose is and maybe what you're passionate about? Where have you fallen off there, if you have? And what is it that you do to get back on track? These are all things we work through, teach, train on in our high performance work. But as you look back from 2019 to now, how positive have you been overall? 0, I've been a negative ninny, grump, ugh, stay away. 10, I'm Mr. or Mrs. Positivity. People come to me, I'm like a radiant light of positive energy. People love it. I charge people up. I walk in a room and the radiance just, they look at me like, oh. What is that for you? Be honest, would love to hear. So overall, I'm going to give myself a 7 here too. The reason being is that when I get into that intellectual mode, that take care of tactics mode as we're setting things up, getting ready for the rest of the year, sometimes I just get into this neutral. It's not negative, but it's a neutral mindset. Like if you see my work face, we talk about this in high performance, that sort of, oh yeah, I get to do this. That versus this. So what is your work face? Is it a positive looking smiley face? Or is it that kind of face? It's a great tell if you put a mirror by your monitor or something like that, or turn your webcam on and look at it. It's like, oh my gosh, that's what I look like when I work? What is that for you? So if it's below an 8 again, what is the one thing you can do to pivot or shift to really level that up? Number 4, productivity. Now I want to frame here, if you're new, that productivity isn't about getting more done per se. It's about knowing what our life's ambitions are, our life's work. If you want to think about like a bucket list, like the things that we really want to accomplish in life so we don't have any regrets as we look back over our life. And then just saying, hey, you know what? I'm moving towards those things and I'm taking care of my priorities, the things that I have to do every day. Whether that's, take the kids to school, prep food, go to work, take care of whatever it is for you. That I'm working on my life's work and I'm working on my to-dos, my tasks, my priorities. So many people I've met over the years, especially in the last few, I've noticed they're great at lists and delivering. And I'll ask them, I've not asked everybody this, but I asked them, some of these people, I'm like, you deliver, you take action, you get things done. So where on your list are your life's ambitions? And about 75% of the time, three out of every four people are like, huh? I'm like, do you have time scheduled, either in your day or overall in your year, for going after your life's ambitions? And some people don't really understand what that means. So I'm like, think about a bucket list. If you've ever seen that movie or thought that through, the things that you want to sure you do on this beautiful planet of ours while you're living, breathing, and enjoying it. And they're like, oh, well, quite a few of them said, I kind of have some ideas, but I don't really schedule for them. But that shift, they've reported, self-reported, that was a big breakthrough for them as they thought that through. Because in a couple instances I followed up and said, how'd you do on your life's work, your ambitions, your bucket list? Kind of planted the challenge when I was talking with them. And that is the productivity piece here. And I want to make sure we connect that for you. Because productivity, the way I viewed it, pre-high performance, was just stepping into getting stuff done. Oh, I crushed that. But high performance productivity is really about getting things done while working on our life's ambitions, hobbies, contributions, and ourself, right? Prioritizing our self-care is a productive day. Like if you go to the gym for an hour, you do work for an hour, and then you go out and help others for an hour, like a volunteer thing. These are all elements of production. Does it follow? I hope so. This is so gold. So as far as productivity goes, I'm going to give myself a 9 there. Been crushing, like I said, kind of working through the heavy-duty lists of priorities that I got to do, and working on life's ambitions too. Did fall off a little bit about the beach, but I did take other things like go out in the park, go to the pool, just to make sure I was connected with my bigger ambitions in life, keeping that universal feeling, that high-level perspective. And then finally, and this has been a doozy for so many people in the check-in, since 2019 started, how profitable have you been? The reason this is the last P is because these things, if they're aligned right, automatically have that happen. And we teach that in our Business Internet Mastery, where we talk about the relationships we have that we bring purpose, passion, joy, and productivity to. If we have an offer that helps somebody go from where they're at to where they want to be, and we're the one that can facilitate that, boom, we can make money, right? To live wealthy in the financial side. So how profitable have you been since the year started? Have you been crushing it, or is there work to do? If there's work to do, totally cool, because today's all about that. How to kind of whittle away all the things that are options and just get down and focus on what's most important. Is that, you follow? Awesome. So profitability for me, we're gonna get that a 10. Never in my life have I been so incredibly dedicated to making sure I'm taking care of the things that I need to take care of on the financial side. The call for me was this. It was the idea that I'm coming up on my 50s. I know I don't look it. And I'm like, I got to dial in all these things so that later on things are easy, much easier, and that I'm paying attention to it. And most importantly, that I'm a great role model as well. And so we've dialed that in. And if you ever want to have that chat, Mastery Community members, we can talk through some of the pivots that I've done in the last 2 years. We will be going over some of this in the Business Internet Mastery around the Success Roadmap to really help you kind of reset, course correct, whatever that is for you to make sure we're owning it. So that ends the 5 P's ratings. However you did, share your numbers in the replay or in the comments, and let me know one thing, just one thing out of the 5 that you're committed to really going after as you step into this week. Maybe tomorrow, or maybe after the call today, after the session today. Now let's step into a little new kind of exercise. It's all based on this book, The 4 Agreements by Miguel Ruiz. And I would love for us to assess ourselves on these agreements. These represent world-class values, ways of being, ways of just showing up in the world that differentiate so many people that I've had the pleasure of coaching and meeting. And I love the way Miguel actually tells this story in the 4 Agreements. So just a little framing, I read the 4 Agreements as part of my coaching work in 2005, or I think it was 2004 actually. And my coach told me at the time, Heather, shout out to Heather, thanks so much for helping me through very, very pivotal time in my life, when I was going through my divorce, all these kind of things, the importance of having a coach in your life, immensely powerful towards me creating my new vision and living into it. She said, read the 4 Agreements, integrate. And so I did. And so these 4 Agreements are real powerful. So let's go through and talk about what your ratings are in these life principles. So the first agreement is be impeccable with your word. I think about this every day. I'm very careful, and the highest performers are very careful about this. I'm very careful about what I say yes to and what I live into, and that I deliver on that. So I have to have filters in my brain that says, wait a minute, if I promise this, then I got to deliver on this. So I got to be ultra careful about what I say, being impeccable with your word, or telling somebody, hey, yeah, I'll take care of you, and making sure you do it, but do it with world class, just excellence. You follow? So I'd like for you to reflect on the year so far and say, how well did I do being impeccable with my word in all contexts of life? So let me frame that a little bit for you. For yourself. Did I make promises to myself as part of the new year, maybe resolutions or whatever? Have I lived into those? Did I go through and tell somebody something? Did I live into that? You may have to brainstorm, or if you're watching the replay, pause the video and think about, okay, who are all the people I interacted with? What were the promises or just things I said I'd do? Things I said I'd step into? Did I deliver on those? Did I do it with excellence? So as I think back, because this has been so top of mind, I'm going to give myself a 9 here. Everything about what I'm trying to go after, to be the best role model I can be, part of the reason this dedication today is to my girls, is that it's all about being impeccable with our word, to be open, honest. You know what? No, I can't do that. To learn how to say no. So often people say yes, and then they get, along the line of today's topic, they get spread way too thin, too distracted. They can't find pockets of time to get focused, to prioritize, to strategize, to plan, to go after, take an action on the things that are most important to them. They've got too many irons in the fire is what they'll say. So how are you doing there? As you look back to 2019, how have you been doing with being impeccable with your word? Second one, and this one when I heard it was a wowzer for me. When I first read it, don't take anything personally. So you may be like, wait a minute. How's that even possible? Now here's the idea. Let me kind of frame this for you. It's not like we're not hearing people tell us things. That's not the case here. It's whether that hearing of things hinders us from a feeling of freedom, a feeling of living into our full self, or course corrects us into not expressing, not creatively expressing. You follow? We want to make sure that we're not taking things personally. It's course correcting our behaviors towards neutral or negative. But on the other side of it, that when we hear things, we're like, okay, that's what you think, that's what you believe, but I stand strong in my values. I stand strong in who I am as a person. And that's cool, but it hasn't affected me at all. So many people on this planet like to manipulate. They like to tell you their thoughts in the hopes that you'll listen and change direction. And this is a huge piece about this. So many people I've coached, including myself, once we got on the track of living purposefully, there was a lot of people, even subtly, trying to self-sabotage. And even ourselves, right? So many people that I coach, and you may be one of them, you're getting on video and you're like, oh, I don't want to put this out because I don't know what people are going to say. I'm to the point, and a lot of people that I coach are to the point, it's like, no, as long as I stand tall, strong, and just put positive goodwill in the world, I don't care what people say. I hope they like it. I hope they find value in it. But no, I'm strong in who I am, and I'm strong that I'm a beautiful beating heart, soul, mind, body, spirit that's putting goodness in the world. And let me tell you, the world needs that goodness. You follow? So we talk a lot about this and beyond fear and personal freedom in our high performance group coaching sessions in the declarations. Now, if you're a Mastery Community member, you have access to those. Strongly suggest you go through some of the work if this is showing up for you. And I have to tell you, and a lot of the people that I've coached this year so far, this is a huge deal. They're afraid to put the video out. They're afraid to go out and express who they truly are. But the moment the people that I've coached do, the world shifts, the universe hears it. A lot of them are reporting, all I had to do is get clear on it, and the next thing you know, these things showed up, and they're usually good things. So I hope you kind of see the pivot here. So as you look back through the year, and I want to kind of qualify this for you, have you taken things personally that's diminished, reduced, hindered your ability to serve the way you thought you would? In line with what we talked about in purpose, helping others improve their life, growing people's business. Like a lot of people get such neutral or negative feedback, including me, on a lot of the work that we do. And I just look at it like, hey, whoa. I used to be like, oh my gosh, they hate what I'm doing, and I duck away from it. Now I'm like, whoa, back up. Where's that energy coming from? I'm just trying to put goodwill in the world. And I love this question, and I've coached people on this too. what are you doing to put goodwill in the world? That's the big course corrector for me when somebody shoots negative neutral energy at me. That's how I sort of bring it around. After I frame that I'm doing that work, and this is the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, sometimes I don't reflect on the reason why, but I'll ask them, what are they doing to put goodwill in the world? Don't you think the world needs it? So I hope with what I just shared that helped. So how well have you been doing here? Have you let things hinder your ability to serve or produce or say what you want to say from a positive frame as you look back through the year so far? What's that rating for you? So for me, I'm putting a 9+ there. I know I can do a little better, but I really am on this. And I've worked out my, I don't like the word script, but I worked out my language that really helps people understand, you know what? No, I'm not letting what you're saying to me hinder my ability to do what I'm doing, because I'm strong in my purpose and I'm strong in helping others. And I do it in 2 ways. Sometimes people need that, that context. I help people improve their lives, and I help people grow their business. And I'm strong in it. And for some reason, I've got to the point where I just feel it and I own it and I let that go. It took a while. I could go on and on about that. But if you're having a problem letting things go, please get into the Q&A today and let me know, because I want to make sure that I help you with some of the nuance, the things that I've done that have sort of, if you think about it like in martial arts, they have the belts. Like I've worked up to, I'll say maybe 1st tier black belt in letting things go fast. And it's kind of a universal view that I have. So whatever that is for you, be real with it and think about, okay, where am I taking things personally that's hindering my ability to go out and put goodwill in the world, or hindering my ability to live a life of freedom? What am I fearing? And if you're in our mastery community, go back to session 1 of the declarations and 2 of the declarations, personal freedom and beyond fear. And that will help facilitate thoughts, behaviors, mindset that will tear you up to be able to just course correct fast when people throw neutral negative energy at you. And if you're going down the path that we're teaching today, focusing, prioritizing, reducing FOMO, going after your bigger goals in business, you're going to need those skills. You're going to need that in your tool belt. Number 3, don't make assumptions. Be very explicit in your communication. Now remember, if I'm writing on the whiteboard, you better be taking notes. That's the way this works. I could reveal these things, but I like it when I write, you write. So don't make assumptions. What does that actually mean? It means when you're talking to people, you're like, oh, I think that's what they mean. No, no, no. As a high performer, as somebody who's more communicative, more open, more expressive, we ask, wait, is that what you actually meant? Some of the best trainers, and I aim to be this, I don't know if I'm this all the way yet, I don't make any assumptions on what I'm delivering for you. Like the word FOMO. I know what it means, and a lot of people know what it means, but I've said over and over again in the emails that I sent, fear of missing out. To make sure I'm not making the assumption you know what that is. So, are you making assumptions as you think about the year so far? Have any assumptions kicked you in the butt? Have you not been expressive? Have you not asked? Have you not got clarity? These kind of things? What's showing up for you? Be honest. So as you think about that, what do you rate on assumptions? I'm going to give myself an 8 there. It's really a difficult practice when you get to it. Like, it's so easy because we're so behaviorally trained to be like, oh, that's what I think they meant. But no, I'm asking, wait, is this explicitly what you meant? Is this what you mean? And I'll say that to them. Oh yeah, but I also meant this. And so we're getting the context. So I don't know about you, but back in the day for me, 10, 20 years ago, assumptions kicked my butt. Like, I thought they meant this, especially in business. Like, this is the outputs and the things we're going to go after. That's what I thought they were, but we never asked. That's why today it's really, really important that I have vision, strategy, planning, and action meetings to assure we understand and we have explicit communication and direction on where we're taking projects, what we're actually up to, why we're doing what we're doing, and whether that's the best use of our time or theirs, or both. You follow? So I don't know what it is for you. Share your rating, and then maybe a practice or thing you want to start to work on that will help you build the case for more explicit communication. Cool? All right, the last one. Always do your best. And I've been so excited to get to this one because I'm going to put a 9+ there for me. And here's the way I view it. When I think about always doing my best, I think about slow, thorough, enjoy. These are in my high performance planner, I don't have it here, but in the upper left corner, as you fill out your day, it says today's message to myself. I was flipping through my first one. I just completed it. And it was seeing here, take slow, thorough, do your best. Like these are the words that I was putting in. Not necessarily those exact words. Sometimes they were those words, but they were like that. Slow it down. Give yourself emotional presence here. Really enjoy the task. You follow? And it's tricky when you got a lot going on. But it's really about compartmentalizing and time blocking. So what I think about now, and this may help you big time, it's helped so many people I've coached, is, okay, in this 10 minutes, I got to pause everything else and just focus on this. And I'm going to go after just that. Carl Newport talks about that in Deep Work. Give yourself the emotional space to go vertical, go deep, right? We'll talk about this here a little bit there too. But that's the shift. You follow? So have you been just hitting the surfaces and be like, I think that's a good enough job? Or in context for anything you're doing, whether it's working out, whether that's being with your loved ones, whether that's date night, whether that's your work, whatever that is for you. Have you been doing your best? Have you been pausing? Have you been putting your phone away? Have you been clearing distraction and being more focused? And that, my friend, is why I said these things are really important to these ends, because these things help us sort of set guidelines about how we should show up. So as we pivot to the training part of today, I want to recap for you. We live into the 5 Ps. These fuel the big picture for us. Purpose, passion, positivity, productivity, towards profitability. These help us focus on the things that we need to be going after, both internally and externally. Being impeccable with our word. Don't take things personally. Don't make assumptions. And always do your best. Is that good? I hope you enjoyed that. Kind of a pivot from what we're used to. We usually do the 10 needle movers in the Wheel of Perspective. We'll bring those back online next month as we step into March. But I really want to make sure we own this for you in context of setting up today's training. So now we're going to go into the training aspect of today. So let's kind of shake it off. Take a deep breath. Okay, we got the conversation started, big perspective. We're good. Training piece. And I got to thank Mr. Ted Billups for the first one. This is really about what I taught in the New Year's Day Jumpstart, the contrasting exercise. Sometimes when we're going to get focused, we have to understand what we shouldn't be focused on. You follow? Sometimes it's easier to start there. I always talk about this from the best version of myself. So many people are like, dude, I don't even know what the best version of myself is. But I'll bet you, and that's what I always tell them, but I'll bet you know what the worst version of yourself is, or not a good version of yourself is. I'll challenge them, and I challenge you to do this. Get out a piece of paper, write it down. The worst version of myself is ... Put one thing per line, and then on another piece of paper, same line, the best version of me. So it's kind of contrasting the opposites. The worst version, I'll just give you context, of myself is drinking 3 to 10 20-ounce Mountain Dews a day. That's what I did in the 90s. The best version of myself is drinking water. And this is what I need to become more of, right? Follow? That makes sense? Okay, so with that in mind, the very first piece to this training today, along the lines of this, is to figure out what you don't want in your life. So let's talk that through. And it might be easier to go over part 2 here. Brainstorm what you do want in your life right now. So let's talk it out a little bit. I know for a fact, as I've gone through the last 3 years of really simplifying the way I serve, I've created systems, I've created behavioral habits. I know that I don't want neutral or negative drama in my life as at all, if I can avoid it. And then you know the way the world works, can't really avoid that all the time, right? But I've adopted ways of speaking, asking questions, or behaviors that just say, you know what, if I get into a situation like that and I have the choice to leave, I leave. If I get into a situation like that, I will ask, hey, is this how this conversation usually goes? Like at a networking event? And they'll, yeah, this is kind of what we do. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'll leave. If I can challenge people, I will. Because sometimes it just takes a pivot in your language through a question that reframes a conversation towards better, right? So in line of not wanting negative neutral in my life, which is very rare now, I very rarely have that in my life, I've adopted where I say no, the questions I ask, the sort of pull cord for me to get out of a situation. So going into a networking event, I've been to a few over the last year, and I've walked into two, and the moment I got in there, I felt a negative neutral energy. Like the people there were more about victimhood, gossip, like drama, blame, excuse, denial, than they were about having what we call in high performance a growth conversation. Like, what are you working on? What can I support you with? How can I help you? And I thought, okay, maybe they need me to come in and ask some questions, right? But I got in there, I felt like one football player getting trampled by a bunch. And I was like, all right, well, let me challenge myself to really work this. And it said, you know what, I don't want that in my life. And left. 10 minutes. Then I said, you know what, in line of that, I could have stayed there for the hour or 2 hours that the event was, right? But I pivoted and said, I'm going to go add tremendous value to people that I love, care for, and serve right now. People of the accountability, growth, mindset kind of thing. So I reached out to a few, made a few calls, and I put goodwill into the world. So I wanted that in my life, and I prioritized that. Do you follow? Do you track where this is? So in line of the first two elements of training today, I'd love for you to write a list and just brainstorm. Maybe it's an open journaling exercise. If you're not familiar with open journaling, something I call where you just get a piece of paper out or a note in your phone or a Word document, whatever that is for you. Evernote, I love Evernote. And it says the things that I don't want in my life now, ... And you just come in maybe 5 minutes a day, a couple times throughout the day, and maybe for a week, and you just start one line item each, and you just start putting things in. You can use bullets and put one item in. Now, as you do that work, I challenge you to have another sheet or another document or another note, the things that I do want in my life now. Now, what we're doing here is we're setting the foundation for what you want to focus and prioritize in your life. You follow? So, for example, this is just illustration for you. A lot of people say, you know what, I don't want to watch mindless TV. I don't want to watch things that are, and this is my story, I don't want to watch horror movies that scare the bejesus out of me and won't let me sleep. You know how I feel about sleep. But I'd rather watch documentaries that broaden my knowledge around topics I'm passionate about. So just so you have a little indication, we talk about this in session 10 in high performance. Intrinsic, extrinsic values, what's important to me is learning about our universe and all the universes, galaxies, everything. Like, that's one of my endeavors of growing knowledge in 2019, is to recognize the vastness and what a little speck of dust we are in a bigger picture of things, right? And so I will, instead of watching a movie now in my life, I will go out and hunt YouTube really quality documentaries, quality information. Some of the people who make their own are really good at what they do. And I'll hunt things down that really help me get that immersion. So if you went through my YouTube history, you'd see a lot of astronomy in the last 6 weeks since the new year. Really going after that. Just blown away with how black holes work and how time and Albert Einstein and all this stuff, right? So what I'm doing here is I'm gathering knowledge. Now this knowledge for me is a kind of a hobby, a passion. But I want more of that in my life. I want to gather knowledge that I find useful. Because here's the connection. For me to live purposefully, I have to bring myself up to the big view of life. You ever get too far in the trenches and you feel like the world's just coming down on me? And you got to have a practice for getting yourself up. So my practice now is to just visualize. This is such a powerful practice. If you want to do it, shut your eyes. Just visualize you're stepping into a spaceship and you're on the planet Earth. And we're moving really fast. And we're coming off the Earth and we're flying by the moon and we see the moon. And we're flying by Mars and then we're flying by, Jupiter and Saturn and Neptune. And then we're coming out of our solar system. And then we're moving along to our closest neighbor, 4.2 light years away. And for some reason, we're able to do that quickly. Not that we can travel faster than the speed of light, but in this context, we do. And then we're just coming out. Just that exercise helps me get back to big picture, course correct a lot of the things we talked about today. You follow? It's like a meditative kind of exercise. So I want to make sure as you flip this, sometimes you got to have these things in play in order to really pull yourself out. So my questions for you are this. What do you not want in your life? These could be distractions. These could be things consuming time on a day-to-day basis that take away from focus and prioritization. Now flip that. What do you want in your life? And if you're lacking context, What knowledge do you want to acquire just for the fun of acquiring knowledge? What is it for you? Is it eating more healthy? Is it learning about specific people that are on this planet or are on this planet that are just intriguing? Is it learning about adventures? Learning how to get the most out of your life? If you're looking for something there, big shout out to Paul. We talked about this. Sailing La Vagabond, Elena, and Riley are sailing around the world, and they have for 4.5 years, documented their entire journey on YouTube. Making bank. Just had a baby, rocking it out. But they help us reflect on how to really get the most out of life if you're of the adventurous spirit, right? So as we think about knowledge, adventure, these kind of things, that paints the frame here for what to focus and prioritize on. Now it should, if you do this work right, also reduce the fear of missing out. Because here's what we know. So many people that I've coached are like, I used to follow Kardashians. I used to be on like nationalenquirer.com or TMZ. And I don't even have time for that. That doesn't serve me. But boy, did I feel like I was missing out when I wasn't on those sites. But now I'm focused. I know the knowledge I want to acquire. I know my passions for what I want to learn. I know I'm on a path to really bring enjoyment to myself that's of a growth realm. And I'm clear about it. And I've prioritized it. So I hope I haven't thrown too much at you here, but I really want to make sure you're getting this. What do you not want in your life? What do you want in your life? And I challenge you, once you have that list, and it may work like this, you have literally pages of what I don't want in my life. Then you have maybe pages of what I do want in my life. Grab a yellow, a red, and a green highlighter. And just go through and highlight the things in yellow that would be cool to have in your life. The things in red that are like, you know what, that's lowest priority. I don't really need to worry about that, but it'd be cool to have that in my life, like low priority things in red, medium priority in yellow. And pick 5, usually start with red, then yellow. Pick 5 that are green on that things I do want in my life. Highlight 5, maybe out of 50, 100, 200, whatever it is. 5, that's the things you're focused on towards that. Now, in context of what we're going to talk about in our training today, in Business Internet Mastery, those 5 things might relate to what mine are. Like now I'm going to scale, so I'm digging deep on learning Facebook ads, Instagram ads, LinkedIn ads, Twitter ads, all these things. That's like my 5 priorities as we go through 2019 right now. Because that is facilitating me living into the 5 Ps and living into what I classify as scale for my business, which is also scale for my life to have a more profound effect. You follow? You see how this connects? I hope so. So let's talk about a couple more things that will help you get some powerful techniques, behaviors, those kind of things towards focus, prioritization, reduce FOMO. So everything I shared so far, do you think that will help you? Do you think what we've gone through will help you kind of course correct and direct? Is there anything else you want to add to that? If you do, comment or comment in the replay. I check those comments all the time. Every day I'm watching for comments. They automatically notify me when I get them. And I'll help you. If you're like, oh, got some things, I don't really know what. If you want to have that conversation, that's great for our Q&A or Zoom roundtables. We have 2 of those a month now. So bring them up. We'll get that straight for you. We'll own that for you. So that you can feel like, oh, I can shed these things that used to distract me and pull away from my focus. And I can prioritize on these things. And as a side effect, hopefully for you, like it was for me and so many others, I'll reduce the fear of missing out. Like so many people I've coached, they used to say, I got up in the morning, I had this desire to check TMZ to see what happened with the Kardashians or to just check wherever they checked, their Kardashians Instagram page. I'm like, okay, so what's the shift? Now I have the desire to get out there and check and see what the latest postings from Darren Hardy have to say, because I love his style. I love his way of being. You follow? Good stuff? Awesome. Right on time, too. So from this, those 5 priorities can be driven towards what I call big, hairy, audacious goals. So let's just say that one of the things is, as you do that work, that you want more of this in your life. And you've watched Riley and Elena sailing La Vagabond, sail the world. I want to get out more and explore. That's one of my goals. I want to build my business. And maybe it's brand new for you. Maybe you're working in a corporate job or whatever that is, or you're doing trading time for money, and you're like, I need to go after my entrepreneurial dream. Luckily, I got the stuff for you to do that in our mastery community, in our trainings and our courses. So I need to double down on that to really facilitate the goal of building my entrepreneurial business. I would challenge you with each goal to journal on why it's important for you to do that So you start to build the case for emotional fuel, emotional catalyst for it. You follow? So many people are like, I got this goal. But when you really build the case for the goal, you're like, I've got this goal. You see the difference in my energy? That's the pivot. That's the shift. So create maybe 1, 2, or 3 big, hairy, audacious goals and really think through why those are important to you. And I'm going to write that up here just to make sure you get that piece. Create big, hairy, audacious goals and why they are important to you. Does anything come up for you now? Anything at all? What's something that, you know what, I got to shed that out of my life. I don't want that in my life. I got to go after that in my life. And this is a goal. It's just popping up as I'm thinking through this, as you're talking about it, Char. Anything there? So many people, when I do this exercise with them, they're like, I don't want these freaking credit card bills coming in that are over $1,000 every month. What I do want, and I visualize, is I want these credit card bills to come in and they're $200 at the most every month. Or whatever that number could be. What's the goal? To get to 200. Then we break down into this. We have to think through and define the skills, and if I'm writing, you better be writing over there, behaviors, mindset, and detailed actions to take on those goals. So many of the people in our community have heard me say this before. The way I've operated for the last 2013 till now, is I define a goal and then I break down like what I have to do behaviorally from the mindset perspective, what skills I need to learn and what the detailed actions are to sort of go after the goal, and then I forget the goal. Like I just put the goal over there and I live into this. But I check in with the goal every week, every month, every quarter. You follow? The highest performers do that, because here's what I've discovered in a lot of the coaching that I've done. I've coached so many sessions, over 3,500 now, high performance coaching sessions. It's a lot of time with people in the last 7 years, really getting these kind of conversations going. So many people that I've coached have reflected on the moment they get near a goal or reach half a goal, they start to change behavior because they feel like they're doing too well. They actually self-sabotage. So when we just say, you know what, here's the big goal, and here's the behaviors, the skills, the actions that I need to take to get to it. So let me give you a couple points of illustration. First, losing weight. I recognized that when I was watching people at the grocery store, this was I recognized this early on in the zeros, so 2001, 2, that the people who had the physique and energy that I wanted were getting different things at the grocery store than I was getting. I noticed that they were staying around the outside of the grocery store, produce, yogurt. They were staying away from boxes, processed food. So I said, my goal is to get below 200. And by the way, I'm still below 200, checked in today. And been that way since January 25th, 2012. So that's quite a few years. I'm so incredibly happy to share that with you. But I had to make that shift. Now I could have said the goal is to drop the weight. Could have gone into whatever mode to do that. But I was like, no, if we're going to do this from a better perspective, and unfortunately I wasn't able to do that until I hit high performance, because I wasn't able to have what we teach is get the emotional catalyst, the emotional fuel for why it's important. I said, what are the skills, behaviors, mindset, and detailed actions I need to take? So here's the way it breaks out. I needed to get rid of and make a quality discernment. I need to get rid of the bad things that are around me. So just to be open and honest, I had pretzels. Those pretzel sticks, Roll Gold, those were my go-tos. I had to replace those. What did I replace them with that had a salty crunch? Guess what? Organic pickles. Yeah, I love pickles. I love dill pickles. Organic pickles. One bigger, organic dill pickle at night completely replaced, for me, the satiation of a salty crunch times something good. And it was surprisingly filling. You follow? I also had to develop the skill of not being drawn to and addicted to soda. So June 30th, 2008, was the very last time I had a soda in my life. But I had to replace that behavior. Okay, now so what I did, just so you have context for it, is it says instead of a can of Coke, I'm going to get a bottle of Evian water. And I chose that brand so that I knew when I was drinking Evian water, at least I did that for about a month, that this was my Coke. And I had to savor it and enjoy it. That was hard, by the way. But that was my shift. So I'd walk in, the behavior was to go to get Coke at a gas station or whatever, and I would go to get Evian water. I'd get it, I'd walk out, have my water, knowing that I was being a better version of me towards my goal. That was the behavior. That's the skill I had to master. I tell you, once you do that with one thing, where you're like, oh, I simply have to do a replacement on that habit. Boom. I can do that on one thing. Maybe I can do it on another. And that's how this thing worked. You follow? So I want to break that down because I know this could be pretty deep for you. One more time. We set big, hairy, audacious goals and why they're important to us. So do some journaling on it. Why is that priority from this work important to us? Then we go through and we define, okay, to live into that goal, always doing my best, really being impeccable with my word. See how these 4 agreements are tying in? What are the skills, behavior, mindset, and detailed actions I need to take to go after it? Oh, I hope that's landing for you. This is everything. And especially for my girls, like, this is everything. You get those behaviors down, the skills you need to learn, the mindset, the actions. Like, I know I'm getting such big chills right now. Because here's what I know. That's what made me be the best person I could be for the longer term. To be here with you. To be one-on-one with you. To helping you. But to being so vibrant and aware, at least for me, vibrant and aware, maybe I'm not that vibrant and aware as I think I am, to really being there for you, taking you down that path, you know? I like the saying, and I think this was kind of something I heard and I kind of added to it. We're only a few behaviors, habits, like shifts in our brain, mindset, away from being the best version of ourselves. And humans tend to work best where we tie a goal to it. But my challenge for you is to think through everything we've covered so far, is what are the goals that I really want to go after, maybe the next quarter or for 2019, and just try to narrow them down to 1, 2, or 3 at a time. Sometimes in our high performance work, we call those projects, goals, dreams, ambitions. 3 at a time, that's the max where we can give full emotional content like we talked about over here, right? That's the pivot. That's the shift. Then we think about what are the skills, behaviors, mindset, and detailed actions I got to do to take and go after those goals. You follow? If you spend some time thinking about this, this, and this, and if you're drawing a blank, that's why I'm here. I become the ultimate brainstormer with you. So get in our Q&As, get a check-in call scheduled with me, whatever that is for you, just so we can own this for you, because I know how powerful this can be towards you feeling more engaged, fulfilled, alive, connected, focused, reducing FOMO, having good priorities on what you're trying to go after, right? So with that all being framed, the last thing was a big pivot that I put in play thanks to Darren Hardy in his book. I want to say it was The Entrepreneurial Roller Coaster, I think is the name of the book. But what he said in the book, and he just did a training on it, and if I can find the link to the training, I'll be sure to link it in the replay. But what it is once you define your skills and your goals, but specifically the skills related to the goals, the challenge is to go wide and then go deep with finding mentors, experts, trainings that can help you. Now let me give you context for that. Let me write it in. Go wide and then deep. What that basically means is, what we're trying to do, once we define these are the things we want in our life, these are the skills we need, these are the goals we're going after, like go in a bookstore and just find all the books related to that skill. So let's just say it's around eating healthy. You find all the books and you really go after just sitting there and paging through them. Does this book, and here's the question you ask, does the author, does the book, does the writing style resonate with me? Same story on YouTube. Use YouTube as a point of reference here. Go through and type in like eating fit, eating well, whatever that is. Watch some videos. See who's got a good momentum going that can help you. And I challenge you as you go wide to find the people you want, is then, and this is where I'm at now, is to narrow down for the specific skills that I want to go after right now. Here's the 1, 2, maybe 3 mentors that I'm going to follow that I've done the due diligence and research on by going wide, that I'm going to go deep with. If you need help here, I'm going to come back to this couple books that I'm referencing a lot. deep work, Cal Newport, because this will help you understand what going deep means, like the emotional connection to them. And also The One Thing by Gary Keller, because that really helps us just frame our mind towards, okay, deep focus with 1, 2, or 3 mentors. So what does it actually look like in life when you do what I said? I'll give you a couple ideas. One, whenever I hear a book that's shared with me by somebody who's like, you know, Char, I know you're going after this skill, read this book. I will go immediately to Amazon.com and I'll get the sample on Kindle and it delivers it right to my iPad, which is my primary reading device. And the sample, just so you know, if you've never used that, it gives you like the first chapter, right? And it shows up in there. So I have scheduled time every week to go through and read those. And I tell you, 90% of the time I delete the book, the sample, because I'm like, this author doesn't resonate, or I already am learning that through another mechanism. Also online courses. So when I got this concept from Darren a couple years ago, I was like, you know what my job is right now? Is to shut down new books per se, but I still read a couple new ones that are just on topic for skills, right? But to go deep with the mentors that I've got. So it's to retake High Performance Academy Master's course with Brendon Burchard, because I'm a high performance coach. Got to build that skill. Got to hear it again. It's to go back through a lot of the books that Brendan's written, that are the training materials for what we teach in high performance. The Charge, the Motivation Manifesto, High Performance Habits. And I don't necessarily need to read them because I take really good notes, but I just review those. I'm going deeper with the existing experts. So in line of a lot of people that come to me for our mastery community, they're like, Char, I know you got a ton of stuff out there and I'm doing a better job. I hope I'm organizing it for you with our seasons and stuff. But my challenge for you is if you need more direction on what we're covering today, there's a lot of training that helps us keep big perspective, teach, and then give you tactics to go after. I challenge you to go back through some of it. And if you need help, I'm your concierge. So just say, Char, here's what I'm struggling with, and I know you got a huge library now. What do you recommend that I look at? We do have a mastery community guide that's available. It's in our, I'm trying to think where it is. Oh, it's on the mastery schedule of events page. But I'll be happy to direct you into the training. You just tell me what those goals, skills, and things you need to learn now are. If we've got the training, I'll even prioritize it for you. How's that? So does that all make sense? So let's recap this, then we'll do tactics and wrap up. And we are on time perfectly. Now today, just so you know, for those trainers in the house, watching the replay with us live, this whole framework was developed out of the last 18 hours. But I thought through, because I feel like I've gotten very proficient in adult learning theory, the things that had to come first, like unveiling the puzzle, creating this with you, co-creating this with you. I might be totally off. I watch my own replays, I do my own work, but I want for you to assess, did this help you with more focus, what to prioritize, and hopefully reduce the fear of missing out? Now keep that in mind as we recap, because this is part of adult learning theory as well. You teach people something, you illustrate, you tell stories, you challenge them, right? Then you recap. Some people, well, actually a lot of people that I know, including myself, it's the third time you hear something that clicks. You follow? So you see that a lot in our training, the way that we do it. So the big one is you have to first figure out what you don't want. That seems to be, and the reason I put that first, that seems to be the easiest. Because I can go into a meeting, a lunch meeting, or just talk to somebody on the phone, I'll be like, tell me what you want in life. Well, I don't know. Tell me what you don't want in life. Oh, and they go to town. And then once we have things come out, what they don't want, boom. And if you're following our model in sales, these don't wants are the struggle, right? Tell me what you do want. They're the ambition. And then your job, if you're going to help them with it, is to say, I can get you there. And that's my job, and here's my offer, right? Pretty cool how this all connects. Next is to help them prioritize what they do want, and then really get the top 3 to 5 out of that list. Make some goals around them, and then have them document why those goals are important to them. That all in its own little bundle is a great 2-hour workshop. Can be up to 2 hours. I've had it in 30 minutes to an hour. Sometimes it's been a half day. Now we dive into this piece, down. What are the skills, behaviors, mindset, detailed actions that we need to take? And a lot of times they don't know. So they got to do the research. I always look at it like putting your sleeves up, going to the library, going after it, right? Then as they think about the skills, find the mentors, go wide, find training in all modalities, whatever the modality that works best for you. For me, that's usually video. Reading is second, audio is third. For a lot of people, audio is first. Go wide, then deep. If you're looking for good mentors to find, go into Tribe of Mentors by Tim Ferriss, the book, and just skim all the topics. Like there's an index online where you can see all the people he's interviewed, because that's where you'll find great mentors on practically every subject, right? And there's another book, Tool of Titans. Tool of Titans and Tribe of Mentors. They've got tons of them. Or just go through Tim Ferriss's podcasts, look for the experts who can help you build the skills, behaviors, mindset that you need. Like one of the things that I'm working on now is that idea of investing, getting more proficient there. So I'm listening to the big guys, Peter McCullen, Warren Buffett, of course, those kind of things. And I went wide to figure out who resonated with me, who I liked their style. Tim Ferriss's podcast was great because it introduced me to the guy that co-wrote Unshakable, Tony Robbins. I think his name's Peter McCullen. And I'm like, I like that guy. He's about my age and he talks in a way I understand. Like we're in alignment. One bonus for you today as you think this through is understand the difference between, it's something Darren Hardy reviewed in the last couple of weeks, understand the difference between knowledge that you want to acquire and skills you need to build. So for example, in my world, the knowledge I want to acquire is about astronomy, as well as building my business through leverage, meaning ads and stuff like that, right? Now I'm good at ads, but I want to be my best. So I've got to get dialed in, and we're doing a lot of work on that right now. We've got tons of ads out for clients, stuff like that, but I need to be the best for me. So I'm going for a masterful level of this. So the knowledge I want to build is in these realms. The skills, I don't really need to build skills in astronomy per se, but I do need to build skills in ads. So I'm moving that to my skills piece, and I've broken this down. You follow? So think about maybe 1, 2, or 3 topic areas that you're passionate about, that you just want to build knowledge around. Could be learning music. Could be doing a certain kind of craft, right? Whatever that is. And that could fall in the hobbies bucket maybe. And then the skills you want to build, and that could be a hobby as well, but also the skills towards business if that's a thing for you. So that being said, let's take a deep breath. How was that? Let's dive into our tactics and wrap this beautiful teaching training session up today. Thanks so much for being here. I love this time with you. This is amazing. I hope you're feeling it. I hope we're helping you focus, prioritize, reduce FOMO. Tactics, very simple. First, journal what you do and don't want in your life. I made this so simple. So we went through all the meaning behind that. Second, prioritize those, and I gave you that exercise. The basic way to do it is take your do list, maybe it's 2, 3, 4, 5 pages or whatever that is. Highlight in red the things that are like lowest priority. Highlight in yellow things that, you know what, I really do want to do this in my life. And highlight in green the things that you really want to go after first. Try to keep that to 3 to 5 items. And it might require, really visualizing things through it. It could be half a day exercise. People that I've coached, they've spent a weekend doing that work. Really powerful. Create your BHAGs. I'm not sure that I like BHAG as a thing, but BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goals. Journal, ask, research who is good mentors here. And I put 3 R's just in case you were wondering what that is. Something that's taught in Experts Academy is when you're following an expert is to see if they have the 3 R's. They're the research reporter. They're the role model. That means they're doing the work. And the most important, in my opinion, is that they've regenerated the results that you're looking to achieve as part of your goals. You follow? A lot of people, I think, like to follow me because there's a lot of people doing the research reporting and trying to role model, like in building Kajabi sites, building profitable businesses, but they like the technique, the way that I'm generating results and sharing with them. Along those lines, just got in the mail our 250K Kajabi Hero Pen. I want to thank all of our beautiful Mastery community members for making that possible. And that happened within 14, 15 months. Also got the new 250K backpack. Really nice backpack, nice and light. This is a great one for the beach. Anybody in the session or the replay want to go to the beach with me? And we'll take our backpacks, our chairs, and our umbrella and just chill, read, and enjoy. Would love to take you. If you want to fly down Southwest Florida, we'll have some fun doing it. Carrie's been down here. Karen's been down here. We didn't get to go to the beach with either of them, but we could. Good stuff. So that's the piece here. Make sure as you think about going wide and deep, that's just another way to angle, like whether that expert is somebody you want to follow. Maybe they resonate, but they haven't actually done the work and generated the results. But Brendan Burchard's a great example of the 3 R's at play, right? He's teaching you research reporting and gives you the data too. And he's the role model, and he's generated massive results. You follow? I hope I'm following in that footstep as well. And then fifth, schedule 90-minute time blocks to go wide. So what I mean by that is once you figure this out, take 90 minutes and maybe refine this, but then say, okay, right now my job is to go on YouTube, try to not get distracted, and figure out who's teaching this, who's going after this. My job is to go out there and find online courses that might build the skills necessary for me to go after whatever my goal is, right? My job is to go out and find, maybe through Tim Ferriss's work, a mentor or two or three along this topic line that will really help me facilitate growing, I don't know what I don't know, growing the things that I need to know to really own this. You follow? Any questions on that, put it in the comments or join our Q&A today, 1:30 Eastern time, yeah, in Zoom. And I'm going to go ahead, close this beautiful session down and get ready for our Business Internet Mastery. We take this conversation forward with the Success Roadmap, which is a one-page sheet that I made back in 2011 and 12. It took me 18 months that completely changed our business on the internet side of things, but also in terms of going after profitable businesses and creating them online and offline. And it's also generated millions in sales for me at ISG over the last few years, and millions and millions of sales for our customers too. So it really helps just narrow down what we need to focus on. So I'm going to be going over that in detail with you then. As you know, I hope I lived into this today. My job on this beautiful planet is to be here for you, thick and thin, unconditional love, to help you live into purposeful, passionate, positive, productive, going after your life's ambitions, and profitable work or being on this planet. I hope I delivered for you. I cannot wait to see you at our Business Internet Mastery. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm here for you. I hope you know that. I know many of you are like, Char, I got this. I need this. I need some help. And we're on a call. We're doing it. We're owning it. Taking care of you. Thank you so much. See y'all in an hour. Have a good one. Bye. Rocked it.